Hello, moguls. It's Dr. T here, and just coming to you with another live and just spraying some upgrades to help you transform from a leader, a creator, and whoever you are at this moment into a powerful mogul by having the self control and the discipline that the great moguls of the world have. The people who are really leading the world and transforming lives and creating so many great things in this world. And I know so many of you aspire to be at that level. And even those of you who are absolutely moguling, as I say, in this world and creating so many amazing things for all of us, have challenges with so many different things. So whether you're an aspiring mogul wanting to have more self-control and discipline so that you can ascend into that level, or whether you're a current mogul, one who is very much more in that powerful, influential role, be it a influencer, a creator, a leader, someone that's driving forward things in industry and in your community and all of that, and you want to have more self-control and discipline like the bigger and better moguls, this is our focus right now. This is what we're bringing forth today. So as someone, someone who has spent years transforming people who are either aspiring moguls, people wanting to be at the absolute top level, or people who really are much further along in that arena, being someone that has guided and transformed these folks, just people who are really ambitious and ascending. This year, I am bringing forth a series of lives all year and a series of constant mogul making content to help transform another population of people into new, elevated, powerful, influential moguls who are creating our new world and our new reality. So I'm on a mission for 1 million new moguls this year being created into the world. And so self control and discipline are a major part of that. So that's our focus right now. Just a little bit about me so that you know who I am. Again, I'm Dr. Tracy Thomas. For many years, people have been calling me Dr. T. One of my clients named me that a long time ago, and it just really stuck. T, which I love, stands for truth. And that's what I aim to bring forward in helping people transform. I also feel like it stands for transformation. And what's really fun, even my own name, Tracy, stands for powerful, influential warrior person, revolutionary. Elizabeth, my middle name, means messenger of God, and Thomas, my last name, means twin or star. I was born as a projector in human design. For anybody that doesn't know what that is, you can go to my website, theempirecompany.com, click on human design, learn a little bit more about it, and learn what you are. A projector means I'm a visionary, a guide, an advisor. Projectors are born guides and coaches and teachers and trainers. And projector's role, which is what I am, and particularly a 5-1 projector. So for any of you who don't know what you are, again, you'll get that info. But as a 5-1 projector, my role is as a revolutionary scientist, bringing solutions and strategies to people and transforming lives in a revolutionary way. And as a projector, again, it's about being a visionary and making sure all of the other types that are here in the world, the manifestors, generators, manifesting generators, and reflectors. Projectors, my role is to make sure that all of you folks live at your highest frequency, your frequency of success. And I was born as a projector, 5-1 projector. My job is to bring revolutionary strategies for success. So that's what I do. And yet I also became, after a corporate career, a very strong and solid corporate career where I was not shockingly training people and leaders into managers and doing years and years of management development for people in the corporate world. I then became a psychologist, which is a typical track for projectors like me, and spent many years working with ultra high net worth and high net worth people in everything from transforming some of the most difficult and intense challenges like addiction and difficulties with their emotions and mental health issues, and transforming all of those really low frequency issues that people can have that really are obstacles to them, transforming things like trauma, depression, anxiety, emotional sensitivity, relational issues and dysfunction into people living at their highest reality, creating their highest reality, living at their elevating in their trajectory, ascending on their path, and living the most purposeful reality of being top creators and influencers, leaders, and moguls in the world. And really helping them transform from whatever challenges they're having into being able to just, instead of living from their reactions, being able to live in their intentions, instead of living in stress, living in success, and helping lots of high profile people, executive leaders, entrepreneurs, and some celebrities, people on the, Forbes 100 lists and things like that, politicians and their families, helping them create their dynasties, and helping, incredible entrepreneurs build epic empires, couples become power couples, and this has been my focus. So I want to go ahead and just give you a few more pieces of background about me. I've spent years as an entrepreneur, as a psychologist, as an entrepreneur, running a success coaching business, using lots of therapeutic modalities, using my own proprietary methodology called the Intentionality method, the identity training method, and the immersion method to upgrade people, transform their lives, transform people from leaders into moguls, from people who are couples into power couples, and also business partners into absolutely top powerful partners, transforming businesses into empires, and families and family companies into multi-generational wealthy dynasties, where generation after generation people are 100% experiencing or set up for success to continue on. And I am a Wall Street Journal best-selling author. I've got 3 different books that are all on transformation. You can grab those at my website, theempirecompany.com/bestsellingBooks. And I've been doing a lot of transformation of people and myself for years. And in my coaching company, doing world-class transformation programs that are at the highest level with these high net worth and ultra high net worth people, with programs that have started at $100,000 going up to $1 million a year, while also having some more accessible programs for people that want to ascend on their trajectory, but really going very intensely for many years as an entrepreneur and CEO, and transformative coach and leader in this area of transforming some of the world's wealthiest people, couples, families, leaders of industry, and really also, even if someone wasn't at that level, people that were so invested in being that way that they would fully invest in themselves as their greatest asset. And really spending a lot of years doing that. And really, at a certain point in my career, coming to want to be that much more philanthropic and really share with all of you more of these amazing transformational techniques, the content, the methodologies, and really deciding to spend this year, to really invest this year, connecting with more of you to create 1 million new moguls in the world. And for any of you that are already at that mogul level, just helping you transform to get to higher and higher levels, and do so in this way, making myself available on YouTube, and really feeling that much more philanthropic and wanting to connect and grow with a more with a larger group of you, because I've been a little insulated in my group with the higher profile people. So connecting with all of you who are leaders of your life, leaders of your families, your partnerships, in your industries, in your companies, again, your families, your communities, and really helping you transform at the level that the top creators, influencers, and moguls do, and really having you have the same access to the transformational process that they get, minus the 6-figure a year price tag. So this is a real opportunity for all of you who are connecting with this content, which has transformed the lives of a lot of people from where they were in struggles and going from struggle to mogul. So let's dive in. Now, looking today at how we can have the self-control and discipline of the most powerful moguls, and those that are more ascended on their path and their track. One of the most key aspects that is important for you to take in, first and foremost, is that in whatever it is that you are looking to gain that mastery over, that self-control, that ability to master yourself and be able to be in control, be able to have that discipline, and be able to get yourself to both do what it is that you want to be able to do and make that happen, and simultaneously keep yourself from doing things you don't want to be doing, right? Which is ultimately a replacement of one version of yourself with another version of yourself. And that's a very important tip that we want to make sure that you look at, right? You're literally replacing yourself with one version, from one version to another version. So very key. And that is the way that the top moguls think about it as well. They're willing, in order to have self-control and discipline, they're willing to become a new version of themselves. And what I find a lot of times with different people that are maybe at a lower level, that are wanting to transform and having a hard time, is they're saying they want to have more self-control and discipline, but they're not necessarily willing to release the former self in order to be the new self that is very masterful over themselves, very in control, and very disciplined. So one of the first things we want to do to be able to master ourselves, have that self-control and discipline of the powerful moguls, is to first and foremost recognize that the way that they accomplish that And the way their coaches like me help make that happen is by 100% first and foremost being willing to prioritize being that top mogul self over and above everything else. Like anything else that you could be trying to gain self-control over, gain discipline over, be it food, drink, behaviors, or something you're doing that you don't want to be doing, and then the things you want to get yourself to be doing. So the top moguls really focus on something that is so much more important to them, that guides all of their capacity to have mastery over themselves and guides their capacity to have more self-control and more discipline. So if we just want a little thing, if we're like trying to go for something small in life, it won't necessarily have enough bandwidth, enough power, enough ability for you to like slay the dragon that you're trying to slay, to be masterful over yourself, discipline, and have self-control. If there's not a big enough mission or purpose or desire to be a much higher version of yourself, and you're just trying to like control a behavior, you're just trying to stop doing something, start doing something more. So I'm just going to use an example. Like if you're trying to stop drinking alcohol but trying to drink more water, that you might find harder to do just isolated in and of itself. Like, oh, I'm just going to do this thing. That might be harder to do than if you had a much bigger purpose that was in place that could actually help you shift not only those behaviors, but shift your identity so that you'd be willing to be a new version of yourself. And that new version of yourself that you are moving into would have an easier time not doing XYZ behaviors and doing the new ABC behaviors, making those choices. So hopefully that's making sense. If you are just trying to change some behaviors, trying to get some self-control and discipline, and it's just about that thing, like I want to eat less, exercise more, say, but you don't necessarily have that new big mission and purpose and that new identity, like the mogul identity, which is a powerful, influential person who's positively contributing to society. That's what a mogul is. Without that identity, without that willingness to move into that new self and effectively replace your old self with your new self, and what the moguls we talk about in our training, is killing that other self off and having such a bigger purpose and mission and identity that is going to, of the person's going to accomplish all that stuff and create those great results and impact in the world. Then it's almost like taking this, it's like you're trying to conquer something and slay the dragon, but you don't have enough identity, you don't have enough bandwidth of that purpose in order to make that so much more important that it can just kick ass on all these little bothersome behaviors and things that you feel out of control and undisciplined with. And this is very important. So we need to have a higher purpose, or as my colleague Simon Sinek says, we have to have a bigger why. Very, very key. So what's our purpose? What's the identity we're going for? What's the new version of ourselves? Because they're the ones that are so much more masterful, powerful, disciplined, and in self-control. So one of the ways you're going to have that mastery, that self-control and discipline, is you're going to go ahead and be willing, this is my invitation for you, to embody the mogul identity. That you're here to be a top mogul, which again, everyone, means powerful, positively influential person that is contributing to society. Implied in all of that is that you're very much a top leader, creator, influencer, and you're very successful and wealthy. Okay? So that's one of the biggest pieces of having this change happen. Now, the next thing is connecting to the results, again, that you want to achieve that are so much more important than whatever the frustrating behaviors or challenges or things that you're struggling with that you feel have control over you instead of you having control over them, and the things that you feel undisciplined about. So we want to know, like, what's the results? What's the reality that we're going for? Okay, this is another top mogul skill here, the strategy of, like, what's the actual intentions that we have? What's the reality we're going for? So, say, for example, you were struggling with just eating too much sugar, drinking too much soda, drinking too much alcohol, not drinking enough water, not eating the best things for you, shopping too much, uh, procrastinating, whatever it is. And all of that's going on. And you're just trying to get yourself to do these different things and not do these other things. But if you have a whole new set of intentions and a reality that you're going toward, then as you focus and connect on that new reality, that what we refer to in my company as the intentional reality, then that intentional reality starts to program you to have a whole different, effectively a whole different set of properties and set of a frequency and an energy that starts to, you almost end up immersed in it. So say, for example, those are challenges that you were struggling with, and yet what you were wanting was, let's just say someone wants to become a amazing public speaker who gets standing ovations and is this amazing contributor and is invited to speak for $100,000 all the time, and you get to do this great public speaking. And that's the reality. So say we're challenged with a set of things we feel out of control and undisciplined with, and we're just, again, trying to, like, oh my God, I'm not going to do this, I am going to do this. You can get a little bit of traction with that. But if there is such an incredibly new, an amazing new reality that you're going for, that you can put your attention and focus on, it'll start to elevate your frequency. So say you were thinking about standing ovations. We're just going to call that the new reality. So in place of not having discipline is standing ovations. Knowing and seeing all these people's lives transformed. Once you are beginning to connect with that more, and you're beginning to feel that program run inside of you, and it's now the reality that you're in, and you just keep connecting with it, connecting with it, connecting with it, it starts to replace whatever the reality is of the challenges with self-control and discipline, whatever those behaviors are. So again, imagine if each time, so say you were, again, you were like wanting to eat some sugary snack or something. And you're trying, let's say this, you have an ice cream addiction and you're trying to overcome that. And if it's just between you and the battle between ice cream, I mean, just as one example, ice cream is a hard one to beat when we're just going, like, should we or shouldn't we? I mean, it's kind of almost always a yes, because ice cream's so awesome. It's really, really a tough one for a lot of people, interestingly. Um, and yet, when that comes up, we start to connect to the standing ovations, right? So in place of an ice cream addiction is a lifetime of standing ovations. Now we start to have more connection to that, more connection to that. That starts to come into our senses, and it starts to elevate our programming and our chemistry. It starts to upgrade our frequency, literally. And lo and behold, it starts to elevate our dopamine, which is why we want the ice cream in the first place. So when you're craving something like that, or something you feel indisciplined with or out of control, and you can insert whatever that thing is that your challenge is, what the top moguls do is, and what we train them to do, is connect to something else that is so much more rewarding, but it also, it gives all the pleasure centers an upgrade. It gives the frequency an upgrade. It gives you what it is that you are likely wanting to experience with the ice cream. But the ice cream, while it's pleasurable, it can never give you what it is that this other larger reward process is, that is more of a mogul style um, experience, which is not only dopamine, which is not only rewarding, but unlike, say, an addiction to ice cream and trying to get all the rewards out of life out of, say, something like sugar, where you have it, but it can't possibly bring the fulfillment that you're wanting and yearning for. When you connect to that, it will like do the self-control and discipline for you, because it'll say, I'm going for standing ovations. I'm going for the sweetness and the pleasure, but I'm also going for the fulfillment. And that's the larger reward, which is not just like a quick hit of sugar. It's a very immersive, fulfilling upgrade that is much more the rewards of the top moguls. And therefore you have something that, instead of like, I'm struggling with self-control over ice cream, and or eating it and then you get that reward but you don't get the fulfillment. Now something like, in place of ice cream addiction as a standing ovation, now you're getting the fulfillment, you're doing it mogul style, you're winning the game, your being is getting the dopamine, you're feeling alive, and then other people are benefiting, which is so much better. So you want to be doing something like that when you're needing to counter and upgrade and replace something that is more of your reacting, or your programs of reaction, like wanting this thing or that thing and not feeling discipline, with your programming of intention and something like a standing ovation. So see, even if we just said public speaking, that's one thing, but that's not even as rewarding as the standing ovation. So we want to know, what's the result, what's the intention, what's the experience that you're going for. Because when you do stuff like that, it's amazing how you don't really care about something else that you're struggling to have self-control over, like in this example, ice cream. So I want to really connect with what the mogul version of a reward is that we're going for, so we can have discipline and mastery over it. Because as you see the top moguls of the world and what they're doing, New York Times bestsellers, TED Talks, podcasts, powerful creators, influencers, collaborators, philanthropists, investors, all of that is still getting all the rewards, the dopamine, the fun, but it's creating something so beneficial to society and inviting all these people to come along with it, that it's rewarding on levels that keeps creating this amazing positive feedback loop, which is how they have more mastery over themselves, self-control, and discipline. That's how the powerful moguls do it. Otherwise, say again, in just this one example of the ice cream that I'm using, you can get a hit of dopamine, but it has a bunch of its own negative consequences over time, plenty of health consequences, and it's not necessarily doing anything positive for society. So you might just be getting the rewards of the sort of normal person. But if we're talking about living a life as a mogul, a powerful, wealthy, successful, influential person that benefits society, this is on another level. And it starts to really give you the discipline and the self-control that you want. So connecting to these intentions, something much, much higher. So we've got the identity, we've got the intentional reality that you're going toward, we got how that's going to raise everything up. Now, the other way to have more self-control and discipline and mastery over the self, the way the moguls do it, because they all have something in common. And in my years of training them, I can tell you that they always have in mind making a massive contribution. And that, again, becomes so much more of a reason, of an energy, and of a bandwidth, and of a strength that gets created within them to have the mastery, to have the self-control and discipline, because the moment and the constant sense that you're here to contribute in a big way, say to millions of people, you're here to make a big contribution. And all the years of your life, by the time you transition out of this body, you were here and you put your mark on things and you made this place and everyone in it much better, and say that's a connection that you have for what you want to do. So some people that may not get this would think, oh my God, that sounds so cool, but I don't know if I could ever do it. But the great news is that the more you connect with it, the more you keep utilizing it, the more you keep having a way of visualizing it, of programming it. That's why we love doing all the coaching on it. That's why I'm doing the more content on it. It actually begins to give you a bunch of strength and energy that you didn't have. It starts to literally give you these energetic resources. It starts to give you this higher frequency, and you start to, again, live in that reality. All of a sudden, instead of just having your own strength of willpower to between you and the fight between you and the ice cream or the cookies or whatever, when you have the intention to make a big contribution, what's really cool is that it just gives you so much strength. It makes you more alive. And now some battle between you and something you're feeling, you don't have self-control over. In my example tonight is the ice cream, or, you can put something else in there. When you are here to make a big contribution, you actually already receive it because you get all of the energy of all of that and all of the people that you're helping. It like starts to give it to you, starts to give you that high frequency. And what's great about that and how the moguls do it and why you see them all, they're capable of doing this and they're doing that and they're getting up early and they're doing the ice bath and they're doing all these amazing things and they're on stage and they're creating content and they're doing interviews and they're making deals. All things that you can do is because the connection to that powerful contribution gives them more energy to take the world on, to make choices and decisions. Because when you combine all these things together, then a little bowl of ice cream seems like it's never going to have a chance, because you can just slay that dragon because you've got a connection to a bigger contribution. And the person that does that has a lot more willpower to say no and to say yes to this. And what's great about that is when you're connected to that all the time and you go towards something much bigger instead of aiming for something small, then you don't end up in as many battles and decisions. Do I do this? Do I eat this? Do I drink this? Do I buy this? Because the things that I'm saying really proactively already put you in that focus. And when you're in the focus of that, you're already there, versus like if you're not in the focus of that, you end up kind of like as a smaller version of yourself, almost maybe a weaker version. And then you can end up in these battles and choices and difficulties and decisions. You have to go back and forth. Do I do this? Do I not do this? And it's you know, it's like you're slaying a dragon down on a lower level, but when you're connected to something of a much higher purpose, like a mogul, you don't even end up in those kind of struggles. It's kind of amazing how that ends up helping you transform to that state. So the bigger the contribution you want to make, the more power you have to slay any dragon that you need to slay, to master yourself, to overcome those difficulties, to have self-control, and to have powerful discipline like an amazing, highly influential mogul. So those are some of the reasons that top moguls keep getting better and better at more and more things, better in their health, better in their fitness, better in their relationships, right? Better in their career and finances. Because the greater the thing we go for and the more impact we choose to make, we now have literally, like, say we want to help 1 million moguls. In my case, you get the power and the energy of that to help you move mountains and do things. And it literally makes some little battle with some bowl of ice cream seem totally insignificant, because it changes your chemistry. And then it has a self-reinforcing process of more mastery, more control, more discipline. And that's how the moguls do it, everyone. Okay? Okay. This is about being masterful like a powerful mogul, but it's also being masterful because you're willing to be a powerful mogul. And when you make that commitment, it gives you this incredible capacity to have a different identity, a different reality, and to have so much self-control and discipline that you end up with tons of capacity for mastery. And what's exciting about that is the more mastery you have, if we just boil it down, you become the master of your reality instead of the slave. And if we boil it down even more and simplify it, about kind of getting just down to the brass tacks, in this life, in this world, you are either a master or a slave. And that is to various different things, and then kind of in the net of it all. And the cool thing about gaining these skills like a mogul, or committing to be a mogul so these skills start to give themselves to you, is that you do end up making, I think, what is the greatest transformation of all, is to go from the slave to yourself, and all of these difficulties and all of these aspects of behaviors and struggles and challenges, and the way in which your own self and a too low of an identity, and the way in which reality can just keep mastering you, and you just are like a slave to it. It's like, what do they say? Like, your reality's bitch. And when you make this kind of transformation, like we're making on here in this live, and like all of my content helps you make the greatest transformation of all, going from a slave to a master, because you're going from a struggle to a mogul. And that is something very, very powerful. Okay, moguls, thanks for tuning in. We're going to wrap this one up. If you need any additional help, there is tons of content on the channel There's a video that's going to play here that you can watch, and you can watch another live. There's a lot of content that's going to help you gain more mastery, gain more power, discipline, and control. Going from a master to a slave to a master, and from a struggle to a mogul. There's also, to help you along, I've got 3 awesome best-selling books, because I'm a Wall Street Journal best-selling author of transformational books that help you with transformational methods and the commitment that you need to make and the way to make these shifts and upgrades. It is so, so simple. So if you want to get these best-selling books, you can go to my website, theempirecompany.com, click on best-selling books, and you can grab the method. The first book is The Method, The Practical Path to Living Your Purpose and Potential. The next book is The Commitments, a step-by-step guide to personal transformation. And the third one is The Pattern Shift, how to transform your reality through intentionality. And those are available for you, and it'll also allow you to click through to Amazon. If you want to stay in touch, you can join the Mogul community here on YouTube that I'm starting here in 2025. I'm just getting it going and making this available beyond what I've been doing in my success coaching company for many years. You can also connect with my work and resources at theempirecompany.com, which is my current website, and look for my new website that'll be coming out, which is the International Moguls Club, as now I have moved my company to Dubai, the land of the moguls and the world's most ambitious people. And there's tons and tons of resources on the Empire Company website, and there will be on the new Moguls Club website as well. So I really invite you all to have a commitment to the 2025 transformational challenge that I'm doing, and having all of you have an invitation to do a transformation into a mogul and receive the training that top moguls receive. In order to do that, it would be amazing for you to be on board here. It'd be great if you would subscribe to the channel, hit like to this video, and immerse yourself in the content that can help you go from struggle to mogul. Today, we've gone on a bit of a journey from being a slave to your struggles to a master of yourself, having more self-control and discipline, and all the ways that you're going to do that. So I thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one, where we'll do a next level mogul upgrade, or what we call a mogul up. All right, thanks, moguls, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.